Welcome back. I'm Master Sergeant retired AnnaMaria Bliven that is privileged and pleased to introduce you to Nikki Doherty, our guest for today. Nikki, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. So excited to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited to have you. You know, your journey through your tunnel of darkness experience is one of an inspiration. And when you first shared that with me, I was like, oh my gosh, give me some of that strength. Give me some of that knowledge, because like I was saying before, when we misfire in life, we need to know what to do and where to go and how to get through this. So would you please give us a short version of what happened to you?
Definitely. Oh my goodness. It's like looking back, where do we start, right? Well, it started, of course, being in the military. I wanted to join the military as soon as I got out of high school. My family thought I was absolutely nuts. No one had really been in the military. And not knowing that right before I was due to get out of the Army, I would be shipped off to Iraq for a year in 2003. So that's where my journey began. In 2003, we went to Iraq for a full year. Of course, I was super young in my 20s. I went to Iraq, came back home. And of course, at that moment, going through a lot, trying to transition back into civilian world. I got married, then I got divorced. I had a baby before we got divorced. I tried to go back to school. You try to get back acclimated into the civilian life, but your brain doesn't shut off from being at war. So on the outside, I was trying to build this normal civilian life, but on the inside, my brain and my mind was still pretty much in Iraq, fighting for survival, watching my back, having panic attacks, dealing with PTSD, dealing with all the things that come with war, even though it wasn't always showing on the outside. So it would be I struggled with that for about 10, 15 years. It would be a very long journey of a lot of mental challenges. Like I said, divorce, being a single parent. I didn't grow up as a single parent, so I didn't know how to be a single parent. I went through a lot of emotional roller coasters until about 13 years into it. I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I don't want to be this way anymore. I don't know what steps to take, but I knew what I didn't want anymore, AnnaMaria. And it was at that point I was so committed, focused, and determined to do the work to set myself free from my own self.
So did you go to a center? Who was it that helped you and how did you get the help?
Definitely. So, of course, first things first, I contacted the VA. I started seeing someone there once a week. Well, once a week for an hour was not going to get the job done. And the tools that the therapist was telling me to do, I really didn't want to do. I was still scared and afraid to sleep in the dark and afraid to be in parking garages and sit in a restaurant and just driving myself nuts. Until for me and my journey, I had to join a good church. For me and my journey, it came for me from reading my Bible. It came for me for getting closer to God and really finding out what the Word of God was saying about me and my life and for me, so I could reprogram my mind. I literally had to make a conscious effort to reprogram my mind. So I joined a very great church, not knowing I was in Ohio at the time, not knowing that my pastor was going to open up a location in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was working for the government in Ohio at that time, and my life was starting to kind of turn around from filing bankruptcy and going to therapy for a little while. And I had lived with my mom a few years after my divorce, and I finally got an apartment and was ready to look into buying a home. And I was in the government working for a great job. My military had rolled over, my military time. I was in a good career and thought, wow, my life is finally turning around for the good. Not knowing the Lord was going to call me to go on a spiritual journey where it all will eventually unfold. But I didn't know that at the time. I knew in my heart of hearts that I wanted more. I knew that purpose was calling me. I knew that where I was no longer where I wanted to be. So I decided to listen to the voice inside of me because purpose was calling me so strong. I quit my government job, cold turkey, withdrew my daughter from school. She didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to her friends. She was on winter break. She didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to her friends. But I knew in my heart that we were being pulled and called to come to North Carolina to start our life over. Sometimes I even crack myself up thinking, wow, you really did that. It's been about 6 years ago since I did that. And it seemed like I was giving up everything in the natural, but my spirit was calling me to something more. And I knew I had to make a change. What I was doing was not working. And sometimes we're so afraid to follow that voice within, but it was that voice within that led me to come to Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, we came here homeless. We came here penniless. I was jobless, but I wasn't hopeless, AnnaMaria.
There's the tea. There's the tip. Hope.
I wasn't hopeless. I had a wonderful life in Ohio after those 13 years of doing the work, but I wasn't fulfilled. On the outside, I was very successful. It seemed like I was getting my life back on track, but on the inside, I was unfulfilled. I was unhappy. I was still having moments of anger and PTSD and nightmares and panic attacks, and I just wanted to be free. So I found hope. For me, hope came from God. For me, hope came from my church family, from reading my Bible, and really, like I said, finding out what the Spirit of God was saying for me in my life. So I figured, hey, I quit my government job, but at this time I have a master's degree in business. I have 2 bachelors, and I'm a combat veteran. I figured I can get a job in North Carolina in no time, right? Wrong. I could not get a job to save my life. And I thought, what is going on? And I said, God, I never questioned coming here. I know I'm supposed to be here, but I said, God, you have to open up a door for me to make ends meet financially. How can I sustain myself? I was almost making 6 figures with the government before I left. And here I can barely get a job. So I started delivering pizzas. I started delivering DoorDash. I was so mad delivering that food for like $5 an hour, right? Not knowing I am in my purpose and don't know it, because what was happening now looked nothing like my life before. And even though I knew I wanted something more, I was still comparing my now to everything that I left.
Oh, now that's another key. That's another key. Okay, so we're going to get back to that right where we left off, right after this message.